and then I just yeah, so I wrote that a few times, and then I also wrote the hiragana versions of them. So like the yu, ki, no, sho, jo. Now you write that by going well, you go yuki, no, and then for writing sho, you do shi, and then you add a little yo, and then you add a u like a u, and then you add a for jo you do a shi, but you add two of those things, which makes it into a G, and then you add a small yo, which makes it into a jo. Shoujo. Yep. I still remember these things. You know, I took an interest in these kinds of things when I was 12 years old. Actually, I'd kind of forgotten about how to do jo. Well, no, I hadn't. Actually, I kind of had, hadn't I? Yeah. Yeah, I had forgotten about that. How to do jo. Well, no, but see, the weird thing about G is that you can kind of also write it with you know, so we have a tato ti te tu. No, but we don't have that. We have ta to chi te tsu. And just like we have sa so shi se su, we have ta to chi te tsu. And if you do chi and you add two of those things, then you get G, don't you? I'm pretty sure you do. I'm pretty sure you can do that, right? No? You can't? Yes, you can. You can do G that way, but it's... that stuff is confusing, so... Oh, the murderer is AFK. The murderer is, you know, in the bathroom. So, but yeah, like I said, I took an interest in this kind of thing when I was 12 years old. So I've been a weeaboo for a while. Can you believe it? It's been like 4 years. Can you believe it? Though I wasn't a weeaboo right when I turned 12, was I? Actually, I was, wasn't I? I kind of was, yeah. Not really yet. I don't remember when I started watching Yuri Yuri. Oh, actually, I wrote a post on Tumblr the day that I did it, didn't I? Yeah, I need to go find that again. God damn it, my old Tumblr account is so cringe-inducing. It's incredibly cringe-inducing. I've had to remove some of the posts because they're just extremely cringe-inducing. It's like I thought I could write whatever I wanted there, but no, that's not how it works. You was using a username which, you know, just... at least I think I was. I mean, I changed my username. I'm finally detective and then this happens. Yeah, no kidding. You're telling me. That the guy? No. Sandra B28. Where is she? Well, I guess you could have found someone who was AFK and then shot the person. But maybe she wasn't AFK. Maybe she's just trolling you. Or like trying to, you know, fuck with you by not killing anyone, but still being active and moving around so that you won't think like, oh, here's an AFK person. This person's got to be the murderer. So shoot this person. Even then, that's not a very sound thing to do, necessarily. You know, if you want to be really sure, you gotta wait for the murderer to show some signs by drawing their sword, you see? Didn't I used to have that rule? I might have had that rule before where it was like, okay, I won't shoot someone unless I've seen them draw their sword. Or unless someone writes in the chat, of course. But as you can see now, I'm a lot more trigger happy because I just know based on intuition half the time. Yeah, sure, it's only half the time, but that's time enough. I just want more walkthrough paintings. They're a lot of fun. That's cringe. The Yuri Yuri, why am I talking about this? I listened to the Yuri Yuri OP and ED today, the bass cover version, when I was downstairs, and I also listened to the band cover of the OP. Yes, yes, with a double S. Estset, understreck, estset. That's the name of one of my songs, except that the underscore isn't necessarily Swedish. It's just it's like Unterstrich, Unterstrich, or something like that in German. You know, did I ever tell you I used to watch a Let's Play of some German dude playing Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney? That was fun. He really liked that, you know, when April May was like, Ich mag Männer mit einem großen Vokabular. And that was pretty funny. Don't you just love April May? That's a weird statement, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. And I did talk about this sometime before, right? How the first game of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney has a very different feel than Justice for All and Trials and Tribulations. You know, it has a very different feel, has very different sound effects, has like a very different feel, like a flow. Like how, I don't know if Justice for All ever did this, or Trials and Tribulations, but what the first game will do is that sometimes they'll just skip the defendant lobby talk and just go straight to court, which I prefer half the time anyway. You know, if there's nothing important to be said in the lobby, then you might as well skip it. And how it'll skip the whole green text jargon and just skip straight to the scene, which is a very different kind of pacing, which I'd actually say is better. I think, you know, it's like when you visit May in the detention center, or like something like that. You know, usually in the later games, wouldn't they put like green text there at first? But in the first game, they just skipped straight to the dialogue. You know, they don't do no green text shit. They do sometimes, but not always. So it's just a very different feel in the first game, whereas the later games have their own feel. But the first game just uses different sound effects, different like pacing. It just feels very different. And speaking of pacing, pacing is something which Digibro talks about. You know, directing and pacing and stuff when he talks about anime. Now, I'm not very fond. I was about to say I'm not very fond of those concepts. That's not true. I'm not very familiar with those concepts, or just analysis like that in general. I'm not good at analysis. You know, I've had this video in the back of my mind that I think I'm gonna make, but I don't know. I'll talk about that after this. So speaking of pacing, you know, what the first game will do is that they'll do trials with 3 days. So instead of 2 days, which became the standard, they have 3-day trials. Like they have the final 3 cases in the first game all have 3 days instead of 2 days. Which I actually prefer. People always say that, oh, you know, this should have had 2 days, not 3 days. 3 days was too much. It could have been condensed down to 2. I completely disagree. I think it's awesome that it has 3 days. It just fits so much better. Like the first day is the security lady, Old Bag, in Turnabout Samurai, that is. And the second day, it's Cody Hackins. And the third day, it's the conclusion with Salmonella and D. Vasquez. So it's like it just works so well. Like, imagine if they'd have tried to like press together the Old Bag and and Cody Hackins. It just wouldn't have. It's just. I really prefer the cases having 3 days. It's just so much better than if they try to condense it down to 2 days. I think you can. Like I just very much prefer that style when it's 3 days. Same thing in Turn-Back Goodbyes. They did 3 days. First day, it's a lot of hearts. Second day, it's Larry. It's like the boat shop caretaker, right? He went to testify. Right? And then Larry came in. Oh, God. And simultaneously,